Are you sick of that crappy horn that you get from the factory? Do you like having that air horn?
You want to have a little fun?
MJ's gonna go inside, we're gonna do a test on it, and then we're gonna see what you guys think.
So if you see us at a campground, don't be riding your bike in front of us. You're not gonna believe what this is going to sound like. What am I talking about? Well,
when you have a gas motorhome, the horn on them are pretty sad. Coming from the factory, don't have an air horn yet. It's not only, I guess, aesthetically embarrassing, but it's really kind of like a safety issue because it sounds like what's on your Escape.
Does it make you feel less of a mess?
Yeah. So I've been talking about this for a long time. One of my favorite YouTube channels, I don't remember the channel, but it's a video about like air horn, train horn pranks. We're not doing a train horn, but we are upgrading the horn on our factory unit here to something that's a lot louder, a lot more
beefy. So this was probably about 2 weeks ago, and I was kind of flipping through some YouTube shorts, and I came across a channel who we know very well, and you may watch as well. If you don't, check them out. They're called the Wandering Wagner. They did a short. They actually upgraded their horn on their Nexus, on their Super C.
They had a sad horn also.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, the change. So I either sent it to you or you just watched it because you saw that I had watched it, and then the wheels started turning in Izzy's head.
Right, like MJ knew I've been wanting to put a train horn for a long time, but they're kind of expensive and there's a lot of work. You got to put compressors and all that, but there are 12-volt solutions out there. So Wandering Wagner's used a different one than what we use. I did some research, and the one that we're using got a lot of good reviews, and it's relatively inexpensive. So this is going to be a DIY video on how we are going to install this new horn on Nelly. We're not going to show you every single detail, but we'll tell you every single detail, and you're going to know from start to finish how to do this. It's relatively easy to do. Probably take you maybe an hour and a half, depending on how much you want to customize it. So before we show you what we got, we're going to do a decibel reading and let you hear what the stock horn sounds like so you can giggle, and then we'll show you the installation, and then at the end we're going to compare what the stock was versus the new horn. We'll also take a decibel reading on the new horn. So after going on forums, because this is what I do, and I do a lot of research before we get something, I just Googled what is a good horn upgrade for my motorhome, and overwhelmingly this was the one that came out, right? It's by Wolo. You can get these on Amazon. They're less than 50 bucks. Now they have different models. This is the Bad Boy. They have
I like the picture that's on there.
Yeah, they have like the big Bad Boy and the super bad. They just sound different, but it's a 12-volt air horn, right? It's like a little compressor on here. You don't have those big tanks, and it's an easy 12-volt hookup. You can hook this up one of two ways. You can go direct, like if you want to just do a push button and have a separate push button to activate this horn while still keeping the stock horn, you can do that. We're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to wire it into our stock horn unit. That way there's no thinking. We hit the horn, it works, instead of having to search for a push button. But you can do that if you want. Now you can wire it however you want. You can set up your own relays. I like to do things really easy. This is the packaging for the Bad Boy. We'll put the links to everything down below. They also have a horn wiring kit. I think it's like 17 bucks. Comes with the relay, all the necessary wiring, so you can tap into your factory wiring system, so when you hit the horn on your steering wheel, it will activate this unit. So we're going to show you what you need. Some of these things you'll need, some of them you won't. It's going to depend on how you choose to install this system. I prepped, like, when they show the cooking channels, I prepped everything. That way we wouldn't be out here for 2 hours because it's kind of cold out. But these are the things you're going to need, definitely. You're going to need a socket set, okay? You'll need the wiring kit as well as the Wolo unit. Some wiring, depending on how you're going to install this. 14 gauge, 12 gauge, 16 gauge, it doesn't really matter. It's only a 12-volt system, but whatever wiring you have laying around, red wiring, black wiring, it doesn't matter as long as it's copper. Socket set, scissors. You can use a butane burner if you want. We just use these things because I heat shrink a lot of the connections. You'll need some butt connectors, which we have in here, electrical tape, power tester. These is probably the most important things if you're going to use them. I really love these tools. We'll link them below. Crimping tool by Klein. This is the bomb. It will make the best crimps. And then wire stripping tool by Klein. Wire cutter. This is going to come in the wiring kit that you buy. This is just going to be the ground. And I'll show you the diagram of how everything's going to be wired up. Safety glasses. Some wiring loom if you want everything neat when it's done. I like neat things. Some zip ties if you want to tidy everything up. And then if you want to change the mounting location, which we're changing the mounting location of the new unit, I just drilled out a new hole, 5/16 drill bit, And I'll show you why I drilled out the new hole, because I'm actually going to mount this directly behind the grill. I think it's a better place than what's currently mounted stock. So let's get right into this, guys. So the first thing we want to do, just so you know, at least on this motorhome, on this F53, the stock horn unit is located right up in here, just in front of the driver's side front wheel. So what I wanted to do was give myself as much clearance as possible, and I did that on our liquid spring system, raised it to the maximum height, gave me another 3 inches to work with. And they are the official sponsor of this video. So what is liquid spring? It is the world's best suspension upgrade for your motorhome. We absolutely love it. We're going on year 3 of having it.
Yeah.
It's been flawless, essentially.
It has. It completely changes the way your motorhome feels when you drive it. It's amazing. Now they are offering their product as a factory option on the following manufacturers: Tiffin on their open road, Rev, Holiday, Rambler, and Fleetwood on most of their gas models, including the Bounder, Southwind, Invicta, and Admiral, Nexus on the Triumph, Rebel, and Wraith, and Phoenix Cruiser RVs.
Now, if you are not one of those, buying one of those manufacturer units, you can get them aftermarket through Liquid Spring, either going to their Indiana location or a bunch of satellite locations that they have, dealers, installers that they work with throughout the country. We actually went out to Indiana, but starting very recently, if you buy a Tiffin from Colton RV, they're the only one that's authorized to do this, you can get the 4-corner system as a factory option. Now, if you want more information on Liquid Spring, contact Wayne Wells from Liquid Spring. His information will be below. A lot of people ask us, is it a big difference? Is it a big difference? This is what we tell them. Just go drive it.
Right. But it's night and day. It really is.
Yeah, so you contact Wayne Wells. He'll let you know where they're going to have their demo vehicles. You can test drive one for free. Usually at many shows or different rallies, they'll have them. Set one up, test drive it for free, and then make your decision from there. But we absolutely love ours. Go check them out. So step number 1, I should say step number 2, after raising the RV, you want to make sure, of course, it's in park, emergency brake on. If you want to put chocks, you can do that, especially if you're on a hill. We're going to remove the stock horn. We're going to remove the bolt that has it bolted to the frame, as well as the wiring harness, and take that out, because we're not using this one. We're just going to keep it as extra. So that's very easy to do. It's just one bolt and then remove the wiring harness. So MJ's inside right now. I'm going to stand in front of the motorhome with a decibel reader that's on my phone. So I don't know how accurate it is, but it'll give enough accuracy for the before and after. It's just setting up a baseline. She's going to blow the horn. I'm going to stand directly in front. That way you can hear how the horn sounds, as well as what the decibel level is. So you heard that, what it sounds like, about 108 decibels on our phone reader. Now the Wolo, is it Wolo or Woho? Wolo.
Wolo.
The Wolo, it claims 115 decibels. We'll see. It definitely does sound a little different. We tested it out on a battery before we brought it out here, but it is a little bit of a different sound. And like I said, depending on what type of model you get, you go deeper or higher, they have all different types of sounds. So we have the stock horn removed. Now the wiring diagram for the wiring harness that comes, so we can wire it directly into the horn. It comes with the relay, but there's 2 gray wires. It doesn't matter which one is which, but there's 2 gray wires coming out of the relay. Those are going to go attached to the 2 wires coming out from the factory harness that was connected to the factory horn. So I'm going to have to clip the connection that came from the factory, and then I'm going to butt connect the 2 gray wires that are coming from the relay. So I talked about earlier that I already prepped everything to save MJ time, myself time, and you guys time. I just want to quickly show you what the wiring harness looks like. If you come in here, I already mounted it. This is the relay, okay? You have one red wire with an inline fuse that's going to go directly to the battery on the positive. The other red wire is going to go directly to the positive of the horn itself. It'll go connected. And then you have your 2 gray wires. Both of these wires, one is going to go to each of the factory wires that come from the horn, the factory horn, the one I just showed you. And then there's going to be a black ground wire that's going to go from the new horn directly to ground, either the battery negative post or directly to the chassis. I'm just going to put it right to the chassis. So it's very, very simple to set this up. Also, I told you a little bit earlier that you might need some additional wire and butt connectors. It depends where you're going to mount this. So you can see the factory red 12 volt is not that long. So this is just a butt connector in here. It's heat shrunk, and then I wrapped it with some electrical tape. This will go through loom, but this is just the extension. And then here are your grays, and you see there's some extension on both grays. Again, they have connections. heat shrunk, and then electrical tape on top, and they will be loomed. So the next thing I'm going to do, we got to connect the gray wires, which are actually the black wires, to the factory harness. Obviously we can't use this connection, so we're just going to cut those two, and then we're going to have to make a nice little connection here, give ourselves a little space, get rid of that loom, and then it doesn't matter, we're going to connect one black to here, the other black to here. So this is where these Kleins come in really nice. You'll get a perfect strip every time. I think this is 14 gauge, and it is, and you see, like, it just comes out perfect. This is like the best tool ever. We'll put the link to this down below. So I would suggest, before you permanently connect these, I just have them temporarily twisted, and we actually did a test because I don't want to connect everything and then crap doesn't work and you do it over. So it works, we know it works, so now we're going to permanently connect these. We're going to make everything nice, and then we're going to mount the horn in a new location, which is going to be right behind the grill, so it's going to really project out and be much louder. So here we go, the stock wiring harness from the horn, and these are actually our gray wires, and now they're black. Remember, they're extensions. So we're going to butt connect each one. Actually, I'm going to put a heat shrink around this. So I got my heat shrink. It's not the perfect size, but it will work. I'll throw a little heat shrink on here. Okay. Before I heat it up. All right.
So why would you use heat shrink here?
So I just like to make sure that I insulate everything, the connection's a little more permanent. I'll put the heat shrink on top of the butt connector, and then I'll use electrical tape. That way there's a nice connection. Now, if you want to get perfect crimps, guys, you know, some people are old school, but I like these Klein tools. Again, I'll put them in the link below, but you see it's color coded, so red, blue, yellow, so it's very idiot proof, how I like. And we're just gonna go to the red. Make sure it's lined up nicely, and then we'll crimp it down. And then you have the quick release here. Look at that, perfect. Look at that perfect crimp, guys. And then we'll come on the other side. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. If things are simple, like a monkey could do it, then I could do it. If it's beyond the monkey.
Oh, stop. Why are you putting yourself down?
If it's beyond the monkey, I won't do it. Because I used to, you know, old school, like you crimp with the pliers and then like stuff comes out. But you see how nice and tight this is now? It's in there nice and tight. I will go in now. The heat shrink goes over. And then you could use a butane torch, which I don't have. I just have the little like lighter. Make sure there's no gasoline around. You'll heat it up. This is why people use a butane torch. So I just put a little electrical tape around both of them, and then again, and then I'll finish looming all this once this setup is done. That's the way everything's nice and clean. I'll finish running the loom on the factory wiring. I'll loom all of this, kind of tidy everything up, zip tie it so that everything's hanging. So I'm going to show you the new mounting location. First of all, to mount it's super easy. It comes with a bolt, lock, washer, and a nut. So you see this is where our factory, or I should say aftermarket, hydraulic leveling system is. If you look over here, hon, there's a welded piece of metal like right here. You can see where it's bolted in right over here. What I did, I just drilled another hole. I don't know if you can see the hole right here. We're going to mount it on that plate. Essentially how it's going to sit, it's going to sit right here. So it's going to be directly behind, if you can show them from the grill. If you look over here, it's going to sit directly behind the grill. So we have the horn securely mounted right behind the grill. That's not going anywhere. Last two things, we're going to connect our ground, connect our power. Sorry, that's just an extension there. So I stripped it out here. The wiring harness kit comes with the connectors. So I'm going to crimp this down. Again, use our trusty little crimping tool. We're going to use the red, which is the first one. Get a nice, good crimp in here, actually right here. This will go, this end here, remember I showed you earlier, if you look, this wire, this red wire is coming directly out of the relay. This will go to the positive of the actual horn. Now this one here is going to be a ground. This will go into the negative of the horn, and then we're going to ground it somewhere on the chassis. I'm going to figure out where's the best place to ground it. We'll ground it, and then we're going to test it out. So we made our final connection. I picked Grand right here. There was a Grand. I just kind of tapped into that. All of this is going to be nicely wrapped up, loomed. It's going to look really good. Again, this black here, the ground's going to go into the negative of the horn. The red coming out of the relay is going to go into the positive of the horn. Now, here is the moment of truth. MJ's going to go inside. We're going to do a test on it. We're going to do a decibel read on it. And then we're going to see what you guys think.
And we're going to see, was this worth all this time that we just spent?
We'll give you about a good estimated time of how long it took. Wow. How long did this take? I did, again, a lot of the prep. So give yourself 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, total.
I'm a little OCD, as you know. This right here, that's bothering me. So that's going to take me another 15, 20 minutes, but you don't need to see all that. I'll just B-roll the end. So we measured. It was 108 on the stock, 127 decibels on the horn. So MJ was inside laying on the horn. I said, go outside and let me know what it is. So what was that like?
All I'm going to say is this. If you see us at a campground, don't be riding your bike in front of us because that thing is loud. Like, it made me jump, and I wasn't right in front of it either. It definitely gets the job done. It really does.
So what was the total cost? Again, it's not a true train horn, but those are upwards of $1,000. They involve compressors and just a lot more stuff to do. Simple. Total cost delivered $67.32. I think it's well worth it. We're going to keep our stock horn, and they have different variants. So if I get sick of this, I'm going to go to like the super big bad boy or like the Rebel, whatever they have. Everything's already there. I just have to swap it out.
When I told when Izzy walked off and he beeped and he saw like how I was a little traumatized, the evil side of Izzy came out.
Well, we may be putting this in other cars. This would be great in the Mustang, right? Because you never think about this in a Mustang, just laying to someone.
Your dream is coming true. I mean, Izzy would literally watch these train horn prank videos for, crying.
So we're going to put the links to everything down below regarding the horn, the wiring harness, some of the tools. I think this is well worth an upgrade.
Yeah,
and it's super easy to do at home.
Cool.
One of the DIYs we haven't done in a long time. Put in the comments below, what do you think? Are you sick of that crappy horn that you get from the factory? Do you like having that air horn?
You want to have a little fun.
And to the left of us, if you like videos like this, we'll put our DIY playlist, also our RV tours playlist. We'll put those all over here. And for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime, and we'll see you on the road.